Yes, this again, Byron Bradford. Glad you could join me today. And I'll be taking some inserts from Star Parker. Her book is titled White Ghetto How Middle Class America Reflects Inner City Decade by Star Parker again. This book was recommended to me by a friend of mine. And lately I've been just paying a lot more attention to. Again, I don't know if you heard me. I got my speaker away from my voice here. The book is called White Ghetto, uh, How Middle Class America Reflects Inner City Decay. Star Parker. Boom. Yes. And of course, it's we're approaching our approaching next 2 years here, electing some different leaders than what we currently have. Um, but particularly those couple sections I highlighted here. I'm only going to hit a couple of them. I'll try to go through them as I cut and paste here with the videos. And one of the things as a kid you always hear, and as you get older, you notice a pattern never changes. And I could never put my finger on it because I never seen myself as a victim of anything, of any circumstances. Whatever I was in a situation, it's just I was in a situation to figure out how to get out of that situation. But this book brought some of that, full circle for me, so I could better understand. And one of the questions I'll read here is, so why is it so hard for Black America to move on? And, and so the Hoover Institute's Shelby Steele believe that part of the reason that Black community clings to the victim mentality rather than face the challenges of life with dignity is because of race holding. Term I never heard of before. And I'm going to explain to you what that is. Race holding allows a Black to retreat into his racial identity as an excuse for not using his talents to the fullest out of fear that he cannot compete. I think they choose to believe in their inferiority not to fulfill society's prophecy about them, but for the comforts and rationalizations that their racial inferiority affords them. They hold their race to evade individual responsibility. The margin of choices, the margin of choice scares them as it does all people. Okay, so basically, you know, it's about the previous video about opportunity. You see this opportunity, but then you talk yourself out of it because it's easier to say I don't want to compete, or you said I don't want to compete for that. I think that's the emotional thing, but I guess if you've been told for something so long, which I was never told I couldn't do this, I couldn't do that, then someone did tell me I wouldn't have done it anyway. But by hiding under the cover of inferiority, many Blacks are able to retreat from the world of competition and risk. And to be honest, man, the world is about competition. Those two things, risk and competition, not in that particular order, but those two things are the world we live in. Risk and competition. You are always in for it, whether it's military for 29 years. I was competing to get promoted to the next rank. Whether I was powerlifting, I was competing to get the first place. Whether it's football, some things are individual, some things are team oriented, but every day you have to get up with the choice that I'm going to be better than yesterday. I don't care about being better than this person. I just need to be the best person I can be today, tomorrow, and going forward. And with myself, excuse me, what I realize is, man, you know, you know, athletics and just powerlifting. You get in the military, PT tests and just taking exams, going through college, getting my bachelor's degree, getting my master's degree. It just you have to always you're in competition with I was in competition with myself. I'm never in competition with the man on my left or right. I'm always in competition with myself to see, okay, I'm gonna test myself, how much I can take, how much I can do this, how fast I can do it. I don't care about the next guy. And what I do has nothing to do with him, me. What he does has nothing to do with me, and what I do has nothing to do with him or her, whomever it may be. So that's number one. Whatever you're doing, make sure you're being the best person that you can be, regardless of your spouse or brother or sister or the person next to you. Because at the end of the day, you're not. Somebody's going to have different opportunities. Somebody's going to have different opportunities. Somebody's going to have more opportunities because they took advantage of every little thing, competition, and a risk that came their way. And then when you take those risks and you have those competitions and you look back over that 20 years or 30 years you was doing all this, then you sit back in a different area and you're watching how everybody else is moving and they watching you and they pissed because now you've separated yourself. And my old professor Robin used to always say, you got to separate the wheat from the shaft. And man, that still sticks with me 20 years later, you know. So as a person that went back to college and I was probably 28, I think I was 28 when I went back, got my bachelor's by 33 and my master's probably shortly after that. So it was eye opening for me because then I was out of that military environment to where I felt like unless you were an officer, education wasn't important. But I took it upon myself to start reading books on my own, to raise my GT score and do those things I needed to do to get to the next level, which is, go up through the ranks. And I accomplished that. So, so I think we have to figure out, let's stop being victims. Tell yourself, stop being victims. Stop letting people tell you you are a victim. I come from Corsicana, Texas, a place called South Park Garden. It's the projects. And I don't, I go back and visit my family, but I don't live there anymore. I don't have to. Because my mom made a decision when we were younger to move, to relocate herself and give us more opportunity. Thank God she did that. Rest her soul. Because she's seen something as a parent that we don't see. Unfortunately, parents now these day and time, they probably too busy on TikTok or some other crap. They ain't got nothing to do with their kids' future the next 15, 20 years. So hopefully that's not happening. But if it is, put that stuff down and quit wasting time. Put that stuff down and quit wasting time. Do something that you can create a legacy for your kids and have give your kids an opportunity to make it out here in this world, because it can happen, but it can't happen without the village and with some help and with some knowledge and people competing against yourself to be the best you. But watching television 12 hours a day, 10 hours a day, 8 hours a day, 5 hours a day, that's not accomplishing anything. All they're doing is rotting your brain. You're missing an opportunity to capitalize on something else. So take advantage of every day, every second, every minute you get to either partake some information upon someone, or take that for yourself and go grow something, help somebody else out. Again, let's start being victims. Let's start being victors. That's my motto for the 2021 and beyond. Stop being victims and start being victors. And you start thinking like a victor, you will be a victor. God bless. Have a great day.